Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Hello everyone, hello and welcome to Sansad Watch, where the eyes have it and the nose don't matter. We are here to talk to you about the upcoming Parliament session, and I have a very special guest with me, Chakshu Roy. Hi Chakshu.
Megha.
Chakshu is from PRS, and I will quickly let him introduce himself, and then I will tell you what this session is going to be about. Chakshu, tell us who you are.
Meghrad, as you mentioned, I work at PRS Legislative Research. PRS is an organization that provides non-partisan research to members of parliament, and it also opens up the working of parliament and state legislative assemblies.
And also, Chakshu is an anchor on Rajya Sabha TV, which he didn't want to mention. I don't know why. Your show is called Making of the Laws, right?
Laws in the making.
Laws in the making, right? So his show is basically about breaking down legislation into understandable terms, I guess, in a very, very serious way. I saw that, Chakshu, and it was a very fun show to watch. Let's talk about how the parliament is going to work, because it's different, right? It's going to be working in a very different way, right, Chakshu?
Yes, Meghrad. I think there are going to be two distinct aspects of parliamentary functioning, which will be very different from previous sessions. If you look at the rules of parliament, when parliament is functioning, Lok Sabha MPs cannot enter Rajya Sabha, Rajya Sabha MPs cannot enter Lok Sabha.
Right.
The only exception to this rule is that ministers can travel between the two houses and attend proceedings in both houses. The reason being that they might have to answer queries or participate in a debate in either of the houses. But this time around, when Lok Sabha is going to be working in the second shift, which is post-lunch, Rajya Sabha MPs, I think about 100 plus Rajya Sabha MPs will be sitting in Lok Sabha. It's a bigger house, so there'll be adequate spacing between MPs, and then there'll be video links and audio links so that they can, when they are called upon to participate in a discussion, they can make their voices heard.
Right.
So when Rajya Sabha is functioning, it will occupy the Rajya Sabha galleries, which is like the first floor of Parliament, where visitors sit and watch parliamentary proceedings. And they will also occupy the chamber of the Lok Sabha. So that's the physical change that you will see in Parliament's work.
Right. I had asked chat a question about what issues they would like to be brought up in Parliament. I have a lot of responses. Sachin says, there is Vignesh who says unemployment. There is Santa Claus who says students' issues regarding examination. There are a lot of people who said NEET JEE. Of course, PM cares is one of the things that people are saying should be raised. And of course, economic issues, farmer issues, those are things that should be raised. What is the way to ask a counter question now for an MP? Now that it's only written, is there a way for an MP to counter question the answer?
So, written answers operate on a little bit of a lag.
Right.
So, to give you an example, when Parliament is working for 7 days a week, the ministries of the Government of India will be spread over, different groups. So on, let's say, Monday, 5 ministries will answer a question. Now, let us say you got an answer to a question on Monday. You can't really put a follow-up question in writing for next Monday or next, Saturday when that ministry's turn comes up again. And that's a little bit of a challenge with written questions.
Right.
That opportunity to cross-question will not arise straight away.
Right.
Because you have to, for next Monday, the question has to go 15 days in advance. And you wouldn't have gotten the response to that.
So essentially you're saying that, say, if a question is asked, say it comes up in Parliament on the 20th, then that means that the question was filed on the 5th.
That's correct.
Right. Now, guys, you have to understand that when the parliament was not in session, which is from March 17th to 1st of September, 14th of September now, which is coming up on Monday, um, there were some things that were passed which are called ordinances. So, ordinances are laws that are passed without the parliament's approval temporarily for emergency reasons. But when the parliament assembles, they have to be brought into parliament, right, Chakshu?
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as I know, there were 11 ordinances that were passed during that time, right? So, can you tell us quickly tell us some important ordinances or laws that were brought in, which are relevant to us?
I think inadvertently you mentioned that Parliament last met on the 17th. Actually, it last met on the 23rd of March. Now, from the 23rd of March till now, the government, as you rightly pointed out, has made 11 ordinances.
Yes.
Now, if I were to break these ordinances into subject categories, then three distinct subject categories emerge. So one category of ordinances are related to finance and taxation and business related issues. The second category that emerges is ordinances around agriculture. And the third category that emerges is around ordinances around health and medicine.
Right. Now, how do you look at bills like registration? You go to legislation and then you see bills introduced, right? Bills introduced will have another search engine, so you can actually look at which are the bills that are being introduced, and the latest one do show up on top. So these are the ones that will show up. But the other thing I would recommend is go to PRS website. Actually, that is a better way to do it. So it's prs.india.org/bill track, right? PRS is where Chakshu works, and his website actually will have, as he said, they have categorized the bills as well according to subject. So you can see agriculture and rural development here. I'll just zoom in case you can't see it. They have agriculture and rural development, they have finance, industry, everything. You can also see some draft bills that are there, which have not really been introduced in parliament. So PRS puts those up as well. And there are the ordinances which he spoke about. So for instance, the farmers produce trade and commerce, which Chakshu spoke about, that is also there. So it's in force right now. It says ordinance in force. So it will come up in parliament, it will be debated, discussed, and then passed in both houses, and that is how it will happen. Okay, Dragon Sin is saying, can you briefly inform us if there actually exists a plan to recover from COVID losses to our economy or not? It's actually a proper question which even my friends ask randomly. I'll take that question because I was just moving on to the next issue which I think should be brought up in parliament, which is the economy. We are down, like growth figures are down 23.9%. We are seeing unprecedented unemployment. One report by IMI said that around 40 crore people have lost their jobs in the informal sector. Officially, 50 lakh people have lost their jobs salaried people have lost their jobs during this lockdown and pandemic period. So unemployment is at an all-time high. You will see certain reports from independent media houses like ours and also some other TV channels who actually do journalism, which is rare. Shashank asks, do our recommendations to standing committees matter?
Absolutely. Please write to standing committees. There is an entire secretariat which looks at all the suggestions that come in from people. Don't send them 100 pages of suggestions. Make your suggestions concise. Limit them to 3-4 pages. Don't start by justifying. Give a suggestion. Your explanations can follow that. But please, PRS puts out regular information about when a standing committee is asking people to send in their suggestions.
Yeah.
There's usually an email address given. You can also, when you write to the standing committee, you can also write whether you want to come and present to the standing committee in person, or would you just want to send in a written submission?
Right.
I have seen law students go and testify. I have seen civil society organizations go and testify, and I've seen experts go and testify. So your voice does definitely matter. And standing committees are this bridge between people and parliament.
Let me tell you that the next session that will happen during the mid session of parliament. So it starts on 14th, and sometime in the middle I will do another one of these. But there is a catch. I will be doing it only for subscribers of News Laundry. So if you liked what happened just now, if you want to be a part of it, please subscribe to News Laundry, and we will send you a Zoom link where you can actually come on video and talk to me about these things, and we can discuss what is happening in Parliament. I will spend some time with you. Those will be longer sessions that we are planning, which you will get access to me, and we are hoping to get more experts like Chakshu on board as well, where they can talk to people, our subscribers. So please, if you like this, subscribe to News Laundry and keep following Sansad Watch, because the third edition, which will be the most interesting one, will be after the Parliament session, about what happened. Now, you must be thinking, if I don't subscribe, I will lose out. We will also be putting out these sessions in truncated form on our YouTube channel. So you might not get to ask questions, but if you want to see what is happening, we will try to do that as well. But for the full session, you will have to be a subscriber of News Laundry, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, the advertiser is served. When the government pays, the government is served. We are here to serve you. So please subscribe, go to newslaundry.com and subscribe to newslaundry.com.